Bro, just Alyx on YouTube. That's just J-U-S-T, Alyx, A-L-Y-X. Don't get, it's not an E, it's a Y-X. A-L-Y-X, bro. Dude, sensational YouTube channel, just some wrestling reviews. And you know what else? I want to say thank you, Alyx. Thank you for being a stallion, for being a stud, for being a bro, and for being an all-around cool dude. So have a good one, enjoy yourself, and everybody tune in to Just Alyx on YouTube. And remember, that's just, J-U-S-T, space, Alyx, A-L-Y-X. All right, bro? Have a good one, dude. Later.
Initiating login sequence. Welcome to Alyx's world.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think hell has frozen over. You guys know I have vehemently rejected WWE going to Saudi Arabia. I have so far done a pretty good job avoiding watching and reviewing these shows to show my utmost disdain for this decision. I think for this time and this time alone, I don't really see it happening again. But based on the card we have for the event in Saudi Arabia, February 19th, right? This month, just a couple of weeks. I can't lie. Hey, call me a hypocrite, do what you gotta do. That Elimination Chamber match looks amazing. And then you add on Lita versus Becky Lynch? Damn! I wish they would put this much effort into their regular shows. They had qualifying matches, for the most part. They handpicked 2 of them. Brock Lesnar, I can let go, because he was the former champion. Seth Rollins? Look, I understand the logic is, well, he unfairly got screwed out of his title match on Saturday, so he deserves another shot. I agree with that. But don't you think it should be against Roman? I thought the match they wanted to do was Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns. That would have made a lot more sense. Putting him here in the WWE title match, I don't really see why you would do that, other than you don't have enough people for the elimination title match. Seth didn't need to be in this. The logical thing would have been a rematch with Roman. But they said, nope, we're throwing him in the WWE title match. Okay. I'm cool with it. I'm not gonna bitch or pitch a fit about it. It's whatever. I just thought they would want to revisit, and they could have revisited Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. So, no idea what the hell that DQ finish was all about. Well, Roman lost mentally, and he lost the match by DQ. So, it was a victory for Seth Rollins, although it really wasn't. He didn't really beat Roman. He won by DQ. And I'm sorry, winning by DQ doesn't, in my logic, in my mind, because I like things that make sense, it doesn't really make sense for that person to then get a title shot for a different title. A rematch for the Universal title? Sure. But to transition that into a WWE title match? I don't know. It's whatever. Not gonna really sit on that. We could have done better. Regardless, Chamber match looks amazing. Lita versus Becky Lynch looks amazing. I'm gonna bite my tongue this time around. I'm gonna watch the show. And if everything goes as planned, I'll happily review it. I'll review the show too. Yeah. I'm gonna watch a WWE Blood Money, WWE Saudi Arabia show. And it's gonna be interesting how I end up liking it. I might not overall come out with a smile on my face, but we'll see. Oh, and in case you guys are wondering, I am not live. This is recorded. The reason why I haven't gone live, or I am not live, is because on Saturday, I did a live reaction to the Women's Royal Rumble, and WWE decided to give that stream a strike. YouTube went along with it, but by taking it down, it gave my channel a copyright strike, which, by the way, as soon as I submitted the counter notification, YouTube said, yeah, our bad. We're going to go ahead and forward that to WWE and get that taken down. It's going to take 10 to 14 days. So in the meantime, this is what you're going to get. Now, I was told, check back in a week. Maybe the live stream feature will be back. But I'm not expecting it to be back until the copyright strike is taken down, which would be 10 to 14 days. So 2 weeks. Hey, you know what? I needed to get some uploads on this channel anyways. So we'll get a break in, a good 2-week break from live streams, and let's see how well it goes. I'm sorry that most of you don't like the fact that we're not live. I can't do anything about it. However, if you are watching me, I appreciate you for making me a part of your day. The same thing applies. Welcome to Alyx's World, a safe space for wrestling fans like you. It will always be a safe space, live or recorded. I'm your host, Alyx, just Alyx. This is my Raw review, Becky Lynch on the Stone Cold Podcast recap. And we're going to have some wrestling news for you as well. It's going to be a big podcast, so do me a favor. Like the video, subscribe, and click that bell to catch all of my content when it comes out. While you're at it, help expand the brand by doing the following things. Join the membership today and be a part of the ever-expanding brand by getting the opportunity to request a video of your choosing. Live reaction, hot topic, or yes, even a review. Also, like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter at JustAlexCentral. Also, give me a follow on Instagram and give me a follow on Spotify. Donate using PayPal, Patreon, Cashapp, VENMO. And yes, Super Chats are officially on. You can donate at any point in time during the broadcast to get your thoughts played live on the air. Email me at justalexsworld@gmail.com for business inquiries just to say hi. And there's the t-shirt. T-shirt today at Pro Wrestling Tees. Get you an old school Deluxe Man t-shirt. Get you a new school Alyx's World t-shirt. But most importantly, get you a blonde hair, blue eyes, apple pie, America t-shirt made by It's J Knox and Follow Star Heart. All of this down below in the description box. Let's get right to it. No shout outs because we're not live, but we'll definitely have a lot to talk about. Wrestling news. What's in the wrestling news? Well, this piece of news comes from PWI Insider. This is a doozy. Brock Lesnar, shockingly, was not the original pick to win the Men's Royal Rumble. Ronda has been the pick for a long time, since last year even. But as of last week, it wasn't Brock Lesnar. Guess who the original Rumble victor was? Some of you think Drew McIntyre? Nah. Kevin Owens? Nah. AJ Styles? Nah. Oh God, Big Omos? No, they're not that desperate. Check this out. Originally, Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle was the original win. He was the original pick to win the whole thing. Yeah, Matt freaking Riddle was going to win the Royal Rumble. And the plan, check this out. The plan was to then use that victory to set up Randy Orton versus Matt Riddle at WrestleMania for the WWE Championship. So how did we get here? Well, of course, Riddle wins the Rumble. Randy Orton would then go to Saudi Arabia to fight Brock Lesnar, do that rematch. Roman would interfere just like he did at Rumble, but I'm assuming Brock Lesnar in this alternate universe beats Bobby Lashley. So then he retains, then goes to Saudi Arabia to fight Randy Orton. And in that match, that's when Roman Reigns interferes and costs Brock Lesnar his shot. Crazy. Then I would also assume Brock Lesnar later on that night would enter the chamber and fight Roman that way. That would be crazy. But regardless, Randy Orton would win the WWE Championship, and then we would get Randy Orton versus Matt Riddle for the title at WrestleMania. Believe it or not, I kind of like this better. I kind of like this one better than the one we got. There's at least a story behind it. It's interesting. I do like the fact that as of right now, Orton has yet to beat Matt Riddle. So Matt can hold that over his head. And Orton going into WrestleMania could be very, very terrified that the guy that he's grown closest to could take the one thing he cherishes away. Their friendship will be in jeopardy. There's actual story behind it. There would be actual heat behind that. The more I think about it, the more I'm surprised they didn't go with it. Jesus, that would have been awesome. The more I think about it. And yes, that would require Matt Riddle to get some victories, to get some momentum, to feel like a WWE champion. At this point in time, the WWE Championship is the IC title. It shouldn't feel like that, but it is. With that said, who's to say they still can't do this? Think about it. As of right now, the chamber match has been set, and we'll talk about that in a second. Matt Riddle is in that chamber match. They could have Matt Riddle beat Brock or whoever the hell is the last man in that chamber and carry the WWE title into WrestleMania, still fight Randy Orton for the title. But Orton would then be the chaser. Something to think about. But yeah, I was sitting on this for hours, and I was like, man, I like this. It would add some credence to this feud and this run. I think if they don't have plans for that title while it's on Lashley, screw it. Why not? Why not give it to Riddle and Orton? They're gonna break up. They will have a match at WrestleMania. Why not make it for the title? We don't know who Lashley is gonna fight. It won't be anybody impressive or important. What, Seth Rollins? No, thank you. I'm good. Kevin Owens? No, thank you. I'm good. Are we gonna move Drew McIntyre back to Raw to have him fight Bobby? No, thank you. This match, Riddle and Orton, feels like the right match to do for the WWE title. So if that's what they want to do, go for it. Let me throw you another curveball. What if, instead of Riddle winning, they have AJ Styles win the WWE title? And then we do Edge versus AJ Styles for the title at WrestleMania. Damn, there's so many directions. That's why I'm excited about that chamber match. Because there's more than one direction you can go in. And I would be 1,000% okay with that. Even the idea of Austin Theory as WWE champion. It's not my first idea, but I don't hate it. I've been slowly becoming a fan of Austin Theory. Slowly. I love the relationship he has with Vince McMahon. It's actually starting to bear some fruit. Jesus Christ, I can't believe I'm saying that. But it is. So, we'll see what they do. I'm okay with this. How do y'all feel about this? Are you cool with Riddle versus Orton? Would you have been okay with Riddle beating Randy Orton at WrestleMania? Would you have been okay with Riddle winning the Royal Rumble to get this? Because I personally wouldn't have minded it. You can argue star power, you can argue booking. We'll get to that point later, but I'm just telling you how I feel now. Very curious to know what you have to say in the comments and live chat if you're watching. Just want to quickly plug my Venmo and my Cashapp for those who want to donate. Some of you are already donating with the live chat. I appreciate that, but if you still want to help me out, and I could really use it right now, Cashapp and Venmo are right there on the screen. So let's go ahead and knock out Raw, because I want to save a majority of this stream talking about that Becky Lynch podcast with Stone Cold Steve Austin. I really, really like that. So when it comes to Raw, not gonna lie, the best parts of the show were the beginning and the end. Brock Lesnar, Ronda. Well, Brock Lesnar Brock Lesnar, Ronda, and Lita were the best part of the entire show. The qualifying matches were fine. I at least appreciate these matches having stakes. It made them at least interesting and worth watching. So, overall, the show was decent. It wasn't terrible, which I guess is a massive improvement. It's still a slog. It's still nothing I would recommend you do. I don't recommend anybody watch 3 hours of Raw. But it is better than a majority of the Raws I've seen. Simply because Brock Lesnar, Ronda, Lita, and then qualifying matches. So, take that as a compliment. I wouldn't recommend you go watch the entire show. Just watch the clips on YouTube. You don't do this for a living. I do it for a living. This is my job, not yours. So, do check out the opening segment with Brock and Bobby. Check out the ending with Ronda, Lita, and Becky. Watch clips of the qualifying matches. And that's about it. Everything else you can skip. Oh. No. I take that back. The other thing that you should watch is everything involving Chad Gable. Chad Gable is a gem. I honestly think he's the reason why I didn't hate the show. Because I was sitting here going, what was it about tonight's Raw that just made me smile? Why was I smiling watching Raw? Other than Lita, who is one of my favorite female wrestlers of all time, if not the best one. I think she's top 3. I haven't made my list yet. She's top 3. But Chad Gable, the stuff they did with the Olympic scooter race, where he, without question, beat that doofus, that novice Matt Riddle, clean, fair and square. Well, just shush. Fair and square, he beat Riddle, showing you why he's an Olympian and why he won the gold medal. And I'm proud to be an American and a big fan of Chad Gable. And a big Chad Gable fan. There we go. Sing it with me. And I'm proud to be an American and a big Chad Gable fan. Yeah. He should have been Kurt Angle's son. God damn it. Everything they are doing with Chad Gable, mwah, I love it. He's found his niche. He's found it, and he's making the most out of it, and I love it. It's giving me Kurt Angle vibes, real talk. It's giving me legit Kurt Angle vibes, in a good way. And Otis is starting to come out of his shell, starting to remind me of, oh yeah, that Otis from Heavy Machinery. You know what? They won't turn him babyface. I don't need him to turn babyface, but I kind of want them to. I think they would work. We'll see. I loved it. Then you had that match with Riddle and Otis where Riddle beat Otis to get into the chamber. But, oh man, that Quiz Bowl next week. I won't be watching next week because it's not going to be on USA Network. But, yeah, I loved it. I'm loving this, man. It's actually making me proud that I sit through this crap. That was one of the few times watching tonight where I went, I torture myself watching Raws on a regular basis. That makes it worth it. Chad Gable makes it worth it. Chad Gable is amazing. Chad Gable is fantastic. I want him as my WWE champion. But I'll settle for the United States title. Do Chad Gable versus Damian Priest at WrestleMania, and we'll be good. If they don't lose the tag team titles, by the way. So, sorry, I had to gush about Chad Gable 1 sec. All right, let's just go through Raw. I'm not going to really talk about all the stuff that matters. I'm just going to talk about the things that stuck out to me. You already know who won the chamber matches. AJ Styles beat Rey Mysterio. Really good match, by the way, of course. Love that counter to the, was it a top rope senton? Whatever Rey hit AJ with. He hit a top rope senton on AJ. AJ rode through it into the Styles Clash. Beautiful. There's only a few people that know how to really work well with Rey. And AJ Styles is one of them. So really enjoyed that match. Congratulations to Austin Theory, who beat Kevin Owens clean. There's some dissension between Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins, who seems to be going babyface, I think. Fans are not sure. People on Twitter, well, he's a tweener. No, is he a heel or a babyface? I think they want to turn him babyface, but he hasn't quite figured out how to go about it. I don't really know how you can make this work. I'm cool with Seth Rollins being a babyface. Just keep this in mind. Seth Rollins has not worked very well as a babyface. I want you to know that. Name me one run where Seth was a babyface where fans were like, oh my God, yes, he's amazing. There was that run in 2018. I'll let you have that. But outside of that, it was like, what? A couple months? Yeah, people weren't... Listen, I'm not saying Seth Rollins is a terrible talent. I think, me personally, I think Seth Rollins is one of the best talents they have in WWE. The problem is, he just sucks as a babyface. He's always sucked as a babyface. He's been excellent as a heel. But I think because he's so entertaining, they'll make up for it in that aspect. All right, we'll see how it works. I don't know if you can make a babyface Seth Rollins work at this point, but it ain't my show. They gonna try. They threw Seth Rollins in the chamber because of the DQ ending on Saturday, which again I've already explained. If he got DQ'd in a Universal title match, shouldn't he be owed a Universal title match against Roman Reigns? And it's not like they used the Raw contract that he won last year to get that Universal title match, or even this WWE Championship match, which they still have yet to really capitalize on. He never really got his one-on-one championship match. No, they just threw him on SmackDown and gave him the match. So I can't even use that logical storyline element. I can't even use that. I'm only stuck with what you give me. Rollins got fucked over at Royal Rumble. Okay, he deserves a rematch for the Universal title. Not this WWE title that he hasn't really done anything to earn. Well, technically he did, but they're not using that. They're just throwing him in there. It makes no sense. I'm beyond trying to follow WWE's logical booking because there is none. Whatever. He's in the match. I just think it's kind of funny that he gets to be thrown in the match. He gets to be thrown in the match while everyone else has to compete for it. Sucks, doesn't it? It sucks. But what you gonna do? Nothing. What else of importance happened on Raw outside of the main event? That would be Becky, Ronda, and Lita. Rhea Ripley beat Nikki Ash's Ash. See what I did there? Yeah, Rhea Ripley, to me, I'm so glad she's done with Nikki. Move her away from her. Now, I don't think the feud is done, but it feels like they're moving forward past this and getting her some type of match that's worth her time, hopefully. Lily and Alexa Bliss is still a thing. They gave her another Lily doll during the psychologist. Yeah, the psychologist segment. Damn it. Gave it to her and she's all like, yay. And that was it. And I love that they even admitted that. I ordered this. They literally said this. Here, Alexa. I ordered this new Lily doll off of WWEshop.com where you can get it today available for I don't know, but it's like, you ever see those corny ass movies where they openly admit that they're trying to sell something to you? It's like, I want to show you something, Alexa. I just got this new Lily doll from WWEshop.com, which you can get right now. And then random music plays. That just felt like so freaking forced. It was so bad. Miz defeating Dominic Mysterio. I laughed at this. Miz did a lie, cheat, and steal victory. That man pulled a lie, cheat, and steal, got Ray eliminated, and then beat his son. I loved it. Don't make me like Miz like that, because I still want to hate him, because he's married to Maurice, but I hate you for doing that. Although it was good. Hometown boy, Angelo Dawkins beat Dolph Ziggler. Do you care? No! Let's see here. Bianca Belair beat Carmella. Do you care? No! I think that's about it. Is that Raw? Can I go on to Rowdy, Ronda, Becky, and Lita? My personal favorite segment, although the MVP was Chad Gable. I'm proud to be an American and a big Chad Gable fan. If you're a big Chad Gable fan, hashtag big Chad Gable fan down below in the comments. He was the MVP, but the best segment was that last one. You had Ronda go out there looking bored as fuck. Ronda's just like, all right, let me get this over with. Let me go ahead and get this paycheck, cha-ching, and go back home to my baby. She's all like, okay, look, I've been debating whose championship I want to, fight for at WrestleMania, whether it's Charlotte's or Rebecca's. Yeah, I called her Rebecca because fuck that bitch. Rebecca. She ain't no man, she's Rebecca. She has unfinished business with them both. She could choose Rebecca, but giving her attention is a compliment she doesn't deserve. So I might just choose Charlotte just to piss her off. And out walks Rebecca, Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch is laughing like, you use my government name. You think you're hot shit. Bitch, I'd slap you. Nothing else happened. She just played a heel character and the crowd was quiet. They were just like, all right, whatever. Was being a heel and Ronda slammed her. And Becky's like, well, Rebecca's like, so who you gonna fight? She slams her, and then she's like, okay, I'll tell you on Saturday. And then she walks out. And I'm like, what the fuck? And just when I was about to just be like, well, that's Raw for you, out walks Lita. Freaking Lita walks out. To the surprise of even me, I'm like, oh my god. And then I went, they're not gonna do Lita and Becky Lynch at Saudi Arabia, are they? They're not gonna do... Oh my god. Yeah, they did it. They went there. Leah's all like, you're a fighting champion. You're a legend. You would fight anybody. And Becky's like, yeah, hell yeah, I would fight anybody. I'm the shit. And Leah's like, she would fight me in Saudi Arabia. Becky's like, hell yeah. Shit. She didn't really do that. I wish she would have done it. That would have been so good. But no, she's all... At first, she was like, no, I don't need to fight you because I'm a heel. And then Leah's all like, so you're a coward then? And Becky's like, no, I'm a fighting champion. You're on. Shit. That's basically what happened. But it would have been hilarious if she did it the first way. Becky Lynch versus Lita. Gotta see it. Nope, not missing it. Need to see it. That's gonna rock so hard. Kinda wish it was at WrestleMania. If the plan is to do, and just so you guys know, the plan right now is to do Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's title. And then Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte for the SmackDown Women's title. And then next year in Hollywood, they'll bring Ronda back to do Becky Lynch versus Ronda. Listen, I'm cool with either or. If you want to say Becky versus Ronda for The Rock's final WrestleMania, go for it. Go for it. But for me, yeah, if they were gonna do a match for WrestleMania between Lita and Becky Lynch, I mean, look, we can always do Bianca Belair and Becky at WrestleMania Backlash. We don't have to do it at WrestleMania. We really don't have to do it. If they wanted to do something here in Saudi Arabia to do the match again at WrestleMania, I mean, I'm not gonna complain. They won't. They'll have Lita lose, and then we'll do Bianca versus Becky at WrestleMania. I figured that was going to be the case. That seems to be the direction. They're teasing that Becky can't beat Bianca fair and square. When the chips are down and she has to fight fair, she will lose. So, fine. That's the story you want to tell. You did screw Bianca at SummerSlam. It makes the most sense for Bianca to get the title back. But damn! Becky versus Lita. I told y'all they were going to lock her up somehow. I said they were going to lock Lita up. They were not going to let her go to AEW. It is a one-off appearance, though. So yeah, Raw was okay. Didn't really hate Raw. Tell me how y'all feel about it. Like the video, subscribe while you're at it. And again, donate. Help me out. Finally, let's talk about the Broken Skull Sessions, Stone Cold Steve Austin podcast, where he interviewed Becky Lynch. And I'm just going to tell you right now, I thought this was great. There is something about listening to Becky Lynch. Like, she's just so sympathetic, laid back, down to earth. She's just likable. A lovable personality. It just reinforces why she should never have turned heel. Why she should be a babyface. And hearing her tell her story of how she came up, the struggles, depression, concussions, being told she's not good enough, she didn't have the looks. How the hell can you hate this woman? They want you to hate her so badly, but it's never gonna work. I don't think fans will ever truly hate Becky, especially when you see interviews like this. But I'm not running the show. So let's just recap. Let's recap what they talked about and just kind of give you my whole thoughts about it. So, right off the bat, Austin asked her, "How you feeling, Becky?" She says she's doing good. She feels great. Best shape of her life, just had a baby, and she's enjoying her role. She admits she enjoys being a heel. She enjoys being a heel more than a babyface. I mean, that kind of goes for everybody because you have a lot more freedom and less pressure as a heel than a face. But yeah, when asked why, she said just that. She says there is less pressure on you being a heel than a babyface, where you're expected to be loved 24/7 by everyone. And if you're not, you're considered a failure. And that word, failure, that is a major trigger for Becky. Considering what she dealt with, a long history of depression, being told not being good enough, a woman in a man's world. That term failure, it's not something that's exclusive to her. All of us have experienced that. That whole idea that if you don't meet this standard or even come close to it, people will just toss you away, treat you like shit. I've been there. Which makes me ask again, why is she a goddamn heel? Anyways. Yeah, here's what I have to say about that. Me personally, I'm old school. I've been watching for 20 plus years, so it makes sense that I feel this way. To me, I would think the best thing any wrestler would want to be is over. Meaning, it didn't matter what you said or what you did, the fans were gonna love you regardless. Stone Cold Steve Austin, over, could literally stun a baby. Fans would love him. The Rock, over as hotcakes. That man could rock bottom women, babies, men, your mama, your granddaddy, you would still love him. Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels, Taker. Like, these people were over. John Cena, Mick Foley, Edge, Rey Mysterio. These people could do anything. Literally anything. Doesn't matter how they felt, doesn't matter what they said. You were over. That's what mattered. So, her just saying she wants to be a heel, I'm just like, Becky, like, at one point in time, it didn't matter what you did. The fans were going to love you. So, I thought that would have been what she wanted, but no, she doesn't want that. She doesn't care about being over, which is interesting. Okay, I won't say she doesn't care about being over. I don't think she looks forward to it because of the pressure. And we'll get into that in just a second. But that's my logic. I always think every wrestler wants to be over. Where it didn't matter what you did, you just showing up just made people happy. You know what I mean? So, she talks about her history, what she went through starting out in wrestling. Becky suffered a head injury, a serious head injury in 2006 that led to her taking 7 years off from wrestling before coming to NXT, as you know. And let me see. Says here, it happened after a botched German suplex wrestling Kisu and GSW. No idea where that is, what that is. The injury put her in and out of the hospital for weeks, Jesus, due to crushing headaches and damaging her 8th cranial nerve. The 8th cranial nerve. Wow, that sounds very devastating. Watch this though, watch this. That being said, in reality, Becky used the head injury as an excuse to take a hiatus from wrestling. Why? Because she thought she sucked. Depression. She tried doing multiple other things, teaching. I don't think, did she go back to school? I think she went to college at one point too. She tried to do a lot of things to fill that void. She didn't want to go back to being a wrestler. Guess who convinced her to go back? Prince Devitt, Finn Balor. Yeah, Devitt convinced her to go back to wrestling. And if I'm not mistaken, Finn Balor didn't debut in WWE NXT until like 2013, right? Guess who showed up right behind him? Yep. Now, actually, I don't even think that was the year he convinced her. I think he convinced Becky to return in 2012. We'll have to see. I think she said 2012, but yeah, she's the reason why she came. She's the reason. He's the reason. He's the reason, not she. He's the reason why she came back. I was like, what? Finn Balor's not a she, right? Anyways, next up, when asked about the triple threat match at WrestleMania 32, 2016, she says originally she wasn't supposed to be in the match. It was only supposed to be Charlotte Flair versus Sasha Banks. But after filling in on TV due to spots being open from injuries, she won over the higher-ups. The suits liked her, and they gave her the third spot. And what got her mostly that attention from the suits were the fans. It was the fans chanting her name that made the suits listen. And remember, this was around the time they did PCB. That's Paige, Becky, and Charlotte, and then Team Bad, and then the Bellas. Ugh. Remember that feud? Remember that? That was so bad. But yeah, that's what got them on TV. And that's what got Becky noticed. Hey, you know what? It's what made her the inaugural SmackDown Women's Champion. That same year, they did a segment with, I forgot who was in the segment, but it was like the entire SmackDown Women's division. And then Shane and Bryan Daniel Bryan, who was retired by that point, said, we're going to name a SmackDown Women's Champion. We're going to name us a SmackDown Women's Champion. And the crowd was chanting for Becky. And then they said, all right, we'll give it to Becky. And then she went away for like a year and a half. She didn't go away. She was in catering, but she went away for a year and a half. We won't see her again until 2018. Yeah. So they asked her, they being awesome, when asked about the heel turn in 2018, Becky admits, like we thought, she admits she knew it would flop. She immediately knew it would flop. How she knew wasn't just the pop she got when she attacked Charlotte. I think everybody just kind of knew, yeah, this isn't going to go the way you think it is. That pop was ridiculous. When Becky, and think about it this way too, before that match even happened, Becky was going on a streak of wins. She was building momentum. She was getting the crowd behind her. And then originally it was supposed to be Becky Lynch versus Carmella. That was the match. But then Charlotte came back from, I don't know, did she have like breast surgery? Breast implant surgery, something like that. She had some type of surgery. She came back and they just threw her in the match. She didn't earn it. They just threw her in the match like they threw Seth Rollins into the Elimination Chamber match. They just threw her in the match. And I remember even I was upset. And look, I'm always going to be a fan of Charlotte's. But even I will admit they do too much for her. They overbook her to oblivion. It's ridiculous. Oversaturated, overpushed, overbooked. I agree. So as soon as she was thrown in that match, I kind of figured they were going to give her the title. And when they did the whole angle after Charlotte won, and they had Becky turn on her, I can remember going, yeah, y'all should do a double turn here. Have Becky be the babyface and have Charlotte be the heel. We're not going to get behind Charlotte. And Becky literally said the same thing. And what she talked about was the promo afterwards on SmackDown. She did a promo on SmackDown afterwards where she tried to turn the crowd against her, and instead of booing her, they got quiet. It was almost like an apologetic hush. Like you tell someone, dude, you did this to me, that hurt my feelings. Yeah, my bad, man. That was the crowd. It wasn't, boo, fuck you. It was more, yeah, you right. Sorry, Becky, you right. Becky. That's what it was more like. Nah, man, they were never gonna boo Becky. But check this out. She then says there were people in the office that actually thought the crowd would boo her. I would tell you that I am surprised, but I am not. Of course they thought that. Why? Because she's not American. Really look at Becky. They probably thought they would boo this Irish foreigner because they're out of touch old men. Oh, hell no, they not gonna like her. The fuck is wrong with y'all? Becky told them the complete opposite. She said, they're gonna love me and hate Charlotte. And she ended up being right. Anybody, even Stevie Wonder, could have told them, yeah, this wasn't gonna work, sir. They're gonna like Becky. And the fact that everybody saw it coming but WWE. Yikes. Then we get into The Man. They asked her about her run as The Man. Steve Austin believes the character came to life when Becky attacked Charlotte at SummerSlam, and the place erupted. To me, and Becky has a different answer, of course. I think it came alive when she got punched by Nia Jax. That was when, she invaded Raw for Survivor Series. She was supposed to fight Ronda Rousey at Survivor Series, and she got fucking decked in the nose, and Nia Jax carelessly broke her nose, and you had that iconic scene of blood just gushing down Becky's face, and she looked like a badass. That's when I went, okay, yep, it's her show. It's her show now. It is her show, and we're living in it. For real. That's when the whole moniker, The Man, really meant something. And Becky talked about this too. She got the nickname The Man from a random call she got with her best friend, who ended it, hey, you the man. You the man, Becky. And her friend was like, you should call yourself that, The Man. And she's like, I'll do that. But I don't really think she came up with the nickname for it to be what it ended up originally becoming, which was, this is a woman conquering a man's world. In this world where the men run everything, she stands on top. She is the man. It was perfect. It was the perfect nickname for her. You know what I mean? And she talked about, I think this was back in like 2017 when she was struggling. She went up to John Cena, man, I'm struggling, man. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what I'm doing differently. Why doesn't WWE book me more? Why won't they use you? And John Cena just told her, because they don't know who you are. Hell, I don't know who you are. Becky was like, well, I'm Becky Lynch, but you knew what he meant. Like, you don't stand out. Well, when she became the man, and this was around the time John Cena came back to do some tours, John Cena went up to her and said, well, I know who you are now. You're the man. She got the endorsement of John Cena. She got the endorsement of Stone Cold Steve Austin, John Cena, The Rock. She got all the endorsements, really. So that's why she became a major star. But yeah, like, to be endorsed by John Cena during that point, that was really, really good. When asked about the WrestleMania 35 match, Becky reveals she was under a ton of pressure during this point in her career. A ton of pressure. And again, it goes back to what she was saying about being a babyface. She talked about how she was under this constant pressure to get the fans to like her. And what made it worse was after she beat Ronda and Charlotte, because she did, she would ultimately go to the main event of WrestleMania 35 and win. Big moment. Became the man, Becky 2 belts. But the other side of that coin is, okay, you're on top now. The chase is over. Now you're the obstacle. Now you're the man. And she was immediately given the task to get everyone else over. Which, whew, I don't know about y'all, but that women's division in 2019? Oh, not good. Not good. Now remember, around this time, Sasha Banks had left. Sasha Banks left. She was done. She was done with wrestling. I think she requested her release from WWE, right? She requested her release. And Vince is like, nah, I'm not letting you go. Nope. Take your ass home. You have a vacation. And come back when you're ready. Which she would ultimately take, and she came back. But she was about to leave. And everyone was like, damn, she might go to AEW. That was the thing. She didn't, though. But they were putting all this pressure on her to elevate the women's division with no Ronda Rousey, with no Sasha Banks. Who did you have? Nia Jax? Lacey Evans? Oh my God. She didn't have anybody to work with. You had Asuka, but Asuka wasn't the same Asuka that she was in NXT. You had Kairi Sane, but they treated them like crap. You didn't really have anybody for Becky to work. Other than Sasha Banks that one time for Hell in a Cell, you didn't really have anybody for Becky to work with. So there was this idea that if the women's division is sucking, it's because I'm champion. And you know how people like Becky and people like me, we get in our heads. If they suck, it's because I'm not doing my job. And Austin had to let her know, no, Becky, that is not your job. Your job is to not worry about them. That's creative. That's not just creative's job. That's also their job. That's also the job of the women to get themselves over. You got yourself over. You put in the work. Now they had to do it. And Becky's like, you're right, but it also was my job. It shouldn't be my job, but it was my job. No fucking wonder. No fucking wonder she wants to be a heel. I get it. Because I think she realizes, at least as a heel, the pressure's off. I mean, they're still tasking her with getting people over, which she's doing her best to do. It's not really working. But at least as a heel, all right, it doesn't work. Doesn't matter. I'm a heel. As a babyface, it doesn't work. Ugh. Oof. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's rough. I feel bad for her. I do feel bad for her run in 2019, though. When asked about leaving and, having a baby, this was around WrestleMania 36, not 37. But yeah, after leaving, let me try this again. Yeah, I gotta read properly. When asked about leaving after WrestleMania 36 due to pregnancy, Becky admits she originally pitched to lose to Shayna Baszler. She wanted to lose to Shayna. And I think we all thought she was going to lose to Shayna. She felt it was her duty to put over the top heel. And Shayna was ripe for the taking. Didn't she, dominate the entire women's elimination chamber? Yeah, I think that was... I don't know what the fuck happened. I know what happened. Vince changed his mind. But it looked like they were going to have Shayna steamroll her way to the top. But for some reason, the higher-up said, nah, we're going to keep you as champ. It was stupid as hell. And by the way, it didn't make her happy. And then she did talk about picking her own battles, picking what heel to die on. The decision to not have Shayna Baszler win was a Vince McMahon decision. It wasn't one of those creative ideas where she could, actually say no. Because she does have some pull. I think she actually did say that in the interview, I do have some pull, but I can't go up against Vince. Whatever Vince says, whatever. I gotta make it work. And Vince said, no, you are not dropping that belt to Shayna Baszler. Which leads me to ask, why did you call her up? You know what I mean? Why did you call her up? What was the point? Regardless. In terms of leaving, what made it easy for Becky to leave was the fact that it was during a pandemic and there were no fans. That woman said, oh, there are no fans here? Bye. I'm gonna go have a baby. I'm gonna go have sex with my hot husband, or my wife, Seth Rollins. Because I'm the husband. Becky's the husband. Seth is the wife. I'm gonna go have sex with my wife and get us pregnant. Anyways, yeah. She got pregnant and said, no, might as well. Screw it. And then she took a year plus, a good year off, a good year and a half. Yeah. And she was just chilling. She was on social media here and there, but she didn't bother nobody. She wasn't starting no craziness. She was cool. She was chilling. Like, she was being happy. She got married. Millionaire husband. Got a good place. Got to train. She got a vacation, and I'm sure she loved it. And it was crazy too, because she talked about this. She was so happy. She was in bliss with her baby at home. She actually thought about retiring. She was like, you know what? I'm good. I'm going into the Hall of Fame. I made it at WrestleMania. I beat Ronda Rousey. Becky 2 belts. I'm good. Hall of Fame. And I'm a millionaire. What's the point of going back? I'm good. She could have retired. I'm happy she didn't, but she could have retired. And it would have been good. But she chose to come back for her baby. When asked about her return at SummerSlam 2021, the infamous 26-second victory over Bianca Belair, she admitted and confirmed it was very last minute. She found out the day of she was coming out to blindside Bianca Belair and turn heel. And she also confirms, and I love that she did this, she confirms it was not her idea to turn heel. It was WWE's, Vince McMahon's, and Bruce Prichard's idea to turn her heel. Becky, she was okay with it. She was okay with it because, cool, I don't get to be the top babyface no more. It's just crazy to me how you have someone that was over and she just prefers to just be a heel. No pressure. Hey, do what you gotta do, man. But damn, it must suck. It really must suck trying to be a heel and fans just won't boo you. Finally, the last thing they talked about was the infamous title swap between her and Charlotte Flair. Whoo, this was a doozy. They showed the footage of the event happening. And in case you guys don't know what she's talking about, sometime in like October, they had Becky and Charlotte swap belts because of the brand split, and they did the draft, and both of them got switched to different shows. So Becky, who was SmackDown Women's Champ, was going to trade the belt to Charlotte, who was Raw Women's Champ, and then vice versa. Becky confirms neither her or Charlotte wanted to do the segment, but guess what? They had no choice. That's what their job was. That was what their job was. Simple as that. It was originally supposed to be a straightforward segment where everyone got their moment. Becky was supposed to steal the Raw title and pretend to be Becky 2 belts, only to give the SmackDown title to Charlotte, and then Charlotte would be like, oh, you want this belt so badly? Challenge me for it at Survivor Series, title for title, winner takes all. And then Becky was supposed to go, bye. Nah, I'm a heel, bye. I'm a heel, bye. That should be a t-shirt. Bye, I'm a heel. But instead, if you guys watched the segment, which most of you did, we got Charlotte dropping the Raw belt on the ground, forcing Becky to chuck the SmackDown belt at her. And then Sonya Deville was all like, pick the belt up, and it was a mess. Horrific segment. Bad. And we got reports around that time that there was a blow up backstage. Both Becky and Charlotte were getting into a heated argument, which led Charlotte to be escorted out of the building. It was true. Becky confirmed it. She didn't hold anything back. She was like, yeah. And here's what's crazy. She even said this on the podcast. She said she just knew Charlotte would sabotage the segment. She would go into business for herself. She knew ahead of time, and she told them about it. And they said, oh, well. Like, what the fuck? So wait a minute. Becky told them ahead of time that Charlotte, I don't even know how she found out. Did she like hear about it? Or did she just know Charlotte that well that she would sabotage the segment? Or did like Charlotte tell her, I'm gonna drop the belt? Deal with it. Regardless, she knew about it. She told them, and they said, "Oh well, that's some man, shit." I'll tell you what. I would be raising fucking hell if I had someone come out and say they're gonna sabotage the fucking segment, do something about this, and they go, oh well. I'm like, oh shit. All right. So, okay, then I'm gonna go into business for myself. Shit. You know? Yeah. Poor Becky, man. Again, like, it's stuff like this that just makes it really hard to hate her. And of course, she did lose her temper. She did lose her head because Charlotte and her were very close friends. She was closer to Charlotte than she was to any of the other 4 horsewomen. She's still close to Sasha and Becky. Herself. She's still close to Sasha and Bayley. But she wasn't as close to them as she was to Charlotte. And she talks about how during the match at Survivor Series, when they showed that video package, and she did that interview backstage and she was crying, those were legit tears. Like, it was sad to see what happened to their relationship. And she had to come to the conclusion that as long as they are in wrestling, they are just not going to get along. They are always going to be at each other's throats. And that's sad. That's really sad. And that's how we ended it. That was the end of the podcast. Jesus Christ. It was really good. It was really good to see Becky open up like that, because she didn't have to. Becky could have played the professional, but she decided to be 1000% transparent about it, and I respect her for it. So, yeah, man. Check out the podcast on Peacock right now. Give me your thoughts about Raw, and give me your thoughts about Riddle and Orton. If you sat through the whole thing, hashtag I watched it all. I appreciate you for making me a part of your day. I hope you guys are doing well. And as always, this is Alyx, just Alyx signing out right here in Alyx's World, the safe space for wrestling fans like you. Peace.